Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, and my friends, 2022 is here, and it's gonna be a very strong year for fighting games. So that said, here I have a video put together for you going over what fighting games will be in 2022. Some will be all new, some games are already ongoing and will be getting new content throughout the year, and for some, hey, who even knows? That said, let's take a look at the games we know are coming out later this year. So the first fighting game that's coming out in 2022 will be the King of Fighters 15, and that is coming out February the 17th. As far as traditional fighters go, of the ones that we know, this might be the biggest fighting game of the year. King of Fighters 15 is, well, the 15th entry in the mainline King of Fighters series. A very long-running series going back all the way to 1994. If you like classic, fast-paced, no fooling around, very few gimmicks fighting games, this is the one for you. Very big roster, 39 characters starting up, classic King of Fighters 3 vs 3 team gameplay, very good quality rollback netcode. If you played King of Fighters 14, there's a lot of smart improvements and additions to the game from 14. A very, very worthy sequel all around. If you don't know too much about the King of Fighters, think it's a little bit like Street Fighter, I guess you could say, just a lot faster paced. A lot of mobility compared to Street Fighter, lots of styles of jumps, and obviously 3 vs 3. So this game, you have to pick 3 characters instead of 1. The game is very rich in features and options, and if you're looking for a solid game, this is going to be one of the better picks for the year as far as fighting games go. Next up, we have Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Now that is coming out March 15th, and I know you're probably wondering, wait a second, isn't this an older game? Didn't this come out quite a long time ago? And well, yes. This is a re-release on more modern systems. This hasn't been available since the PlayStation 3 days. So now a new generation of players get to play it, and also it has a completely different balance than the original console versions. This is based off the arcade mode balance, so this is all new in that manner. So if you're looking to replay a classic or try it out for the first time, it comes out this March. Also in March and a few days before Persona Arena is Phantom Breaker Omnia. That will be March the 15th. So Phantom Breaker Omnia, this is really the first time it's coming out anywhere in English. There was older games, but they were never localized in any meaningful way, so now it is. And on top of that being English with all the text, there is a full English dub as well. Phantom Breaker Omnia has a full balanced revision compared to the older games, also a couple new characters. This is a traditional anime style fighter. And one thing, somewhat similar to Mortal Kombat in that it has variations. Every character basically has 3 separate fighting styles. So if you're a fan of the traditional anime style of game, also this will be good for you. And yes, that is Kurisu from Steins Gate. She is one of the characters in this game. Also a fair bit of story content, as it'll contain the story of this game and all the old stories from the other Phantom Breaker games that never made it over here. A pretty solid package all in all. Also coming this year is DnF Duel. That is sometime this summer in 2020. DnF Duel kind of came out of nowhere and took the fighting game community by storm. Announced later in 2020, just kind of disappeared for a very long time, then a massive deluge of trailers, character reveals, and then all of a sudden a beta. This game has been very, very well received. Made in conjunction by Arc System Works, the people behind Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball FighterZ, BlazBlue, and Aiding. And Aiding, you probably know them most for their work on Marvel vs. Capcom 3, so definitely some pedigree there. Compared to a lot of other more modern fighting games, the battle systems are a little easier, a little bit more simple to get into, but that's certainly not a bad thing. It just means you can get your feet on the ground a lot faster than some more traditional fighters. This may be the secret big hit of 2022. Like other games that'll do well, like the King of Fighters 15, it's a known property, right? You didn't even have to play the game to know it'll be like King of Fighters and it'll do good. This game, in contrast, is certainly unproven, although going by the community betas that we've had, people seem to like it and people seem to have fun. And in the end, fun is the single most important thing a fighting game can be, and this game has it in spades. Also, very good netcode. As far as online features go, that's a little bit of a wait and see as of the time of me making this video. But all in all, what I can say is it's a very fun game coming from developers with a very proven pedigree. The fact that it's based off of a Korean MMO that most people in the West have not played, that doesn't really matter because the game's fun. So it's background, you don't really need to know it, you just have a fun game waiting for you. Now we get into some of the games where the release date's a little bit more nebulous. Gonna be this year, but we don't really know when. First being Multiversus. So Multiversus is the Warner Brothers take on the platform fighting genre, with characters throughout all of the Warner Brothers properties. So Arya Stark from Game of Thrones, Bug Bunny, Batman, Superman, like you got just about everything. Shaggy, Steven Universe. Since they can pull from any and all Warner Brothers franchises, basically the potential roster of this game would make Smash Brothers look weak and uninspired. Warner owns a giant chunk of like all media, so they can definitely get some characters. Now, unlike most platform fighters, the main focus is actually on 2v2 combat. You can still do one-on-one, you can still do big free-for-alls, but 2v2 is the focus, and a lot of the game balance is designed around that. Also, the game will be free to play on just about every system and cross-play with all systems. So if you're looking for a game you can play with any friends regardless of where you are, console, PC-wise, this is the one. Given the popularity of the characters and the fact that it's free to play, this could be massive, like absolutely massive. Like this could be an actual contender to Smash Throne if it does play well. If you are a fan of platform fighters, this is the game to look forward to. Next up, we have Blazing Strike coming in 2022. This game is an indie developed fighting game with a bit of a retro throwback feel, calling back to a bit of the fighting games of the later 90s like Third Strike. If you want to get that retro feel, aesthetic, and gameplay in 2022, if you want to make 2022 feel like the 90s, then Blazing Strike looks to be the fighting game for you. This game has been in development for quite some time, so I'm very much looking forward to the actual release. Speaking of throwback games, we have Die by the Blade coming out sometime this year. This game feels like it's very much inspired by the classic Bushido Blade series. So I guess you could say this isn't a traditional fighting game in a sense, but it certainly, well, it is a fighting game, just not a 2D fighter with super meters and all that kind of stuff. So very much like Bushido Blade, it's all about quick, precise strikes. Make sure you block or dodge because a single hit can kill. Very lethal, fast-paced kind of game. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, then keep an eye on Die by the Blade. Sometime later this year will be Coreupt, another small indie team-made fighting game. This is a little bit cyberpunk future-inspired style of fighting game. The footage you're seeing here is from a very much not finished build of the game, just so you know, but Coreupt is looking for a very high-paced action, big combo style of fighter. Very flashy style of combat with a very flashy style of cast. The one thing I could say about this game, even though it's not quite out yet though, is it's definitely figured out its sense of style. A lot about this game and its cast of characters just kinda drip with cool. So if you're looking for exactly that, big combo, stylish characters, then I think this is the game for you. I like the aesthetic, I kinda like everything they're showing. I think this is a fighting game to look out for and watch out for in 2022. One of the most beautiful things about fighting games as a genre as a whole is they are supported for many years. So many fighting games will be continuing on in 2022, and chief among them, Guilty Gear Strive. So Guilty Gear Strive will be finishing up its first season pass in 2022. The character Baiken will be the next character to launch for Guilty Gear Strive. We have another DLC character after her to fill out the Season 1 pass, and very much look forward to and expect a Season 2 pass for Guilty Gear Strive. Who knows what characters will be in it, we can only really speculate, but it's a very safe bet that Guilty Gear Strive will be around for many years to come. And speaking of many years, Dragon Ball FighterZ will be entering its 4th year as a game. The game came out in January of 2018, and here we are in 2022. So one of the things we now know is there will be a new additional character coming to the game, and that is Android 21 Lab Coat / Scientist version. Now, we don't know anything past the announcement of this specific character, but it tells us there's plenty of life left yet in Dragon Ball FighterZ in its 4th year of service. Will there be more characters, a whole nother season pass of DLC characters? I guess that's a bit of a wait and see, but Dragon Ball FighterZ keeps on going strong in 2022. Now, speaking of games that have been around for a while, Skullgirls will turn 10 years old in 2022, and it only just finally got its first season pass. We have Annie of the Stars, who is already released, we have Umbrella, we have Black Dahlia coming up, and yet still more characters even after that. The fact that this game is getting new characters in 2022, 10 years after it originally came out, means Skullgirls has stood the test of time like few games can. So if you've loved the game in the past, it's still going good today, and if you've never tried it out, it's easy to find, it's pretty cheap to get, might as well give it a little bit of a shot. Never been a better time to try out Skullgirls. Street Fighter V came out in early 2016, and in 2022 there's still a little bit more gas in the tank. So the final DLC character of Street Fighter V, Luke, has already launched, but in 2022 there will be one last major balance patch. This will be the final major balance patch of Street Fighter V. Now, you're probably thinking, and everyone's thinking, what about Street Fighter VI? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl came out in 2021, and it will keep on going on in 2022. So expect all new costumes, new voice-acted lines for the characters, and, well, all new characters, Starfield being the most recent addition to the game, and who knows what the future will hold exactly, but there is more coming. If you like your platform fighters, this is definitely one to keep an eye on in 2022. Also ongoing in 2022 is Melty Blood type Lumina. So as of the time of me making this recording, there will be 2 new DLC characters coming out later in January, and they are both free of charge. And there is at least 2 more DLC characters after those coming out this year as well. If those would be free, hey, that would be really nice as well. If you love this classic style of anime fighting, it will keep going strong in 2022. So now let's talk Street Fighter VI. Will Street Fighter VI come out this year? Who knows, really. Now, will Street Fighter VI be announced this year? That is basically almost a given. If you're watching this later in the year, it was probably already announced by now, in fact. Street Fighter VI is one of the worst kept secrets in the fighting game community. We've known about it for quite some time. Its development definitely troubled by the COVID problems, which have affected many games, and also some internal staff problems and staff layovers, which caused them to change certain aspects of the game. More than likely, if everything went the way it was supposed to, it would have been out by now. Its delay is the whole reason we got the last season of Street Fighter V with people like Rose and Oro. That was never the intention. That was the buy some time for the Street Fighter VI delay season. Still, that was the best season ever of Street Fighter for the most part, so, happy accidents come out of that, I suppose. Street Fighter VI will be announced this year, but will it be this year? We'll wait and see. If it does come out this year, though, it'll probably be later on in the year, probably closer to fall or winter. And finally, to mention Project L. Project L is not coming out in 2022. Despite what your hopes may be, it is not happening. We will get more news on the game in 2022. We'll learn more about it. Maybe it'll finally have a real title, because it currently does not. But it is not coming out this year. Realistically, 2023 if we're lucky, maybe 2024. I know you're looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it myself, but not happening this year. That said, when it does come out, Riot always does quality work, and I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic game. Somewhat similar to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, it's a 2v2 tag fighter. It's probably going to be very crazy, very much looking forward to it, but unfortunately, not this year. And that, my friends, is everything we know right now about the major fighting game releases of 2022. There'll probably be some curveballs thrown at us, there'll probably be some surprises thrown our way as well, we'll see. But all in all, I think 2022 is going to be an absolutely amazing year for fighting games. Can't wait. So all in all, it's going to be good times for the fighting game community in 2022. And that said, hey, we're at the end of the video. If you just found this video through like regular YouTube search, this is a fighting game channel. I cover pretty much exclusively fighting games, so hey, maybe stick around, see what else you like on the channel. Otherwise, this is the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.